What's up, dudes? It's me, BraveX Hero, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 PvP and PvE guns with the perk Thresh. Now, if you're like me, it's towards the end of the season, you got nothing else to do, you need to get your hands on these guns. If you're someone looking to take full advantage of this perk, then you're gonna want to find a gun that can snag you some sweet kills. Now, keep in mind that there are no dedicated rankings of these weapons. They're all pretty good in my book. Also, if you want my full thoughts on the perk Thresh, stay tuned to the very end of the video and I'll give my thoughts on that. But like always, before we get into the video, if you found this video helpful, then do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Also, I'm trying my best to catch up with comments on most recent videos. But if you want to hang out with me and some awesome people in the community, you might want to stop by our community Discord and join the Hero Squad. It's a great place to message me directly and also find people who are like-minded like you, like-minded Crucible players, people trying to improve daily. Without further delay, let's get into the video. Now, before we get into the weapons, what is Thresh? Well, the perk reads, killing combatants with this weapon generates a small amount of super energy. To give you a real simplistic version of that, every time you get a kill with a weapon that has the perk Thresh, you get a small amount of super energy. Now, if you want a full breakdown on the amount of super energy you get and how quickly, then I'm going to link you over to 2 YouTube sensations, Astacross and Fallout Plays, both of which have videos breaking down how the perk works and how to get the most out of the perk, so go check them out. Now, let's start this list off with a gun that I know some of you have dismantled a billion times. That gun is going to be the Stars and Shadow, which can be obtained simply by playing PvP. And guys, it has a pretty high drop rate. Now, what I really like about the Stars and Shadow is that it's a 340 RPM high impact pulse rifle, aka it is a 2-burst monster, which paired alongside the perk Thresh, you can really snag a lot of kills and charge your super pretty quick. Now, with the Stars and Shadow, the perk Thresh drops in the final column, which really opens up a lot of windows of opportunity for other perks to have synergy with the perk Thresh. Remember, guys, that with the perk Thresh, you want to be able to secure as many kills as possible. You want to get a kill and get back into the fight, which is great for perks like Feeding Frenzy, Field Prep, and Outlaw, which all allow you to secure a kill and get back into the fight. A perk you might want to consider is Firmly Planted. With a gun like the Stars and Shadow, its intrinsic perk, High Impact Frame, this weapon is more accurate when stationary and aiming down sights, which pairing its intrinsic perk with Firmly Planted and Thresh, you're going to see a lot of crazy synergy there. As for this weapon in PvE, I would have to rank it in a pretty high category due to its ability to take down low tier and mid tier adds with ease, especially with the reload perks we were talking about in the remaining column. Guys, this gun is one that you should not overlook. If you get it to drop with Thresh, keep it, put it in your vault. Maybe it gets buffed later on, or maybe you're a fan of it like I am. Moving into the next gun, we have the Bottom Dollar, which can be obtained from Gambit as a random endgame drop. And when I mean random, it's pretty random. I've seen people get 15 in one night. I've seen people get 0 in 3 nights. Now, it being a high impact hand cannon, one of the biggest setbacks is that high impact hand cannons have a small magazine, low stability, and terrible reload speed, which can all be negated with some perks that you're going to be wanting to aim for. Now, the perk Thresh drops in the final column, meaning you can go for any reload perks on the second to the last column with perks like Rapid Hit, Outlaw, Surplus, Feeding Frenzy, Subsistence, and Slide Shot. I'm not gonna lie, guys, that is a lot of solid perks. Really can negate some of the biggest drawbacks of high impact hand cannons. Personally, I have one with Surplus and I'm having a blast. But how does it perform? Guys, it's a high impact hand cannon. Since this weapon is a high impact hand cannon, your ability to snag kills in PvP is pretty easy. Maybe after the nerf might be a little bit harder. Now, this weapon in PvE, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with low magazine hand cannons in PvE. You're always running out of ammo. You're having to reload often. But like I said, all this can be negated with reload perks. I don't see why this hand cannon can't be top tier for PvE and PvP if you get the right perks, the right roll. RNGesus bless us with the right roll, am I right? Now, one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite guns to use, well, you can really make some fun builds with this. Since this weapon is void, a build for my warlocks out there that you might want to consider is pairing this with Nezarec Sin for even more super energy. Yes, I'm making a full video on this build, so if you haven't hit the subscribe button or turn on all notifications, do that now because you don't want to miss out on this build. Alright guys, switching gears once again, we went from PvP getting the Stars and Shadow to being Gambit mains getting the Bottom Dollar. This next gun is going to be one of the easiest weapons you can grind for this season, which is going to be the Extraordinary Rendition, a new kinetic SMG that can be farmed from the new Battlegrounds playlist. Well, just like our previous weapons, Thresh is going to be in the final column. Hooray again. Now, looking at the remaining perks in the second to the last column, you can't really go wrong with any of them. You have perks like Outlaw, Subsistence, and Overflow, which is one of my personal favorites, and Surplus. Guys, this weapon isn't meant in the current sandbox, but if Bungie ever makes any changes to SMGs, this is going to be one you might want to consider having. Personally, I feel like this weapon will be more utilized in PvE over PvP, and that's because of how quickly you can take down low tier ads, which will help you charge your super much faster. But hey, that shouldn't stop you from taking this gun into PvP. For my Titan mains out there, I really had a lot of fun pairing this with the Peacekeepers. You're going to be getting a lot of benefits out of it. Alright, I'm about to say it right now. I get asked all the time on this next weapon, where do you get it? Why does it slay? Guys, we have an auto rifle that I hold near and dear to me. The next weapon we have on the list is going to be the Arctic Haze, which is a 720 RPM auto rifle, the fastest firing auto rifle in its class. Now, this weapon can be easily obtained by completing the proper bounty from Varix on Europa. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. If you really want this weapon, you need to find the right week to farm. You're probably asking yourself, Brave, what do you mean? When you pick up the bounty from Varix, it's going to have a random activity specific for that week. Some weeks this weapon can be farmed in 15 minutes. In other weeks, it takes about 30 minutes plus, all depending on which bounty rewards the weapon. And surprise, surprise, just like our other weapons, Thresh can be acquired in the final column. Now, for this weapon, any reload perk will pair extremely well with this auto rifle from Outlaw and Subsistence, but hey, I can even see Killing Wind being a great perk. In the PvP department, I can suggest trying to go for as much range as possible. This is going to allow you to duel any of the big dogs out there, from high impact hand cannons to the dead man tails from a distance. Alright, but how does this weapon perform in PvE? Guys, I really get a lot out of the magazine because of its size. It is a large magazine. Clearing out low level ads has never been a problem with this weapon. So you might want to head over to Varix and see if it's an easy week to grind for this gun. Now, coming up to our final weapon, we have a weapon that not only comes in a base form, but also there is an adept version of it. This weapon is none other than the Palindrome, which can be acquired from farming the weekly specific Nightfall. Now, this weapon has Thresh in the final perk column yet again, but you can really get a lot of good synergistic perks. One that really stuck out to me is the perk Overflow, which is one of my favorites, and it's probably going to be the one I'm going to be going for on my adept version. But you got a lot of other perks out there like Outlaw and Subsistence that can be good options for PvP. Now, for PvP, you can't go wrong with Quick Draw and Killing Wind. Just know that you might be catching yourself in the middle of a reload during multiple gunfights. Now, this is another weapon that performs well in both PvP and PvE. Sure, it has lower damage output compared to something like the bottom dollar, but you can still take down low tier ads, which is going to allow you to charge your super. If you haven't gotten your hands on a Thresh roll yet, this might be time for you to get your light level up, form a team, and get to grinding. Alright, my final thoughts. Look, Thresh is a fun perk. If you're someone who likes to make fun builds, then yes, these are weapons you want to get your hands on. Or maybe you're someone who can slay out in the Crucible, and by having a weapon like Thresh can help you get your super much faster, then Thresh might be up your alley. But the biggest setback for me is that majority of the time, Thresh falls in the same perk column as our bonus damage perks, such as Rampage, Kill Clip, Multi-Kill Clip. Now, is it a fair trade-off? Well, that's up to the user. I can see myself rocking Thresh in Iron Banner or random PvP, but when it comes to those sweaty games like Trials, then yes, I'm going to choose damage perks over Thresh any day. But for PvE, I can see myself rocking Thresh all the time. I can see Thresh being a top tier perk. Jumping into a raid or fighting through a Grandmaster Nightfall, getting your super can be huge. That's what makes Thresh amazing for PvE. But don't let that stop you from utilizing it in PvP. Remember that you can always negate these things. If you want bonus damage perks, then use Whisper of Hedrons on a Stasis subclass. Boom, you get bonus damage and Thresh. But like always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like and let me know down below. Comment, be like, Brave, this is a great video. You should consider doing something like this. Also, if you're new to the channel, you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button for more Destiny 2 content and turning on all notifications. Also, if you haven't seen my most recent PvP tip videos, you're going to see a bunch of playlists on the end screens. Go check them out. If you want to improve in PvP, there's going to be a playlist for that. You want to improve in sniping, there's going to be a playlist for that. But like always, follow me on all social media platforms at BraveX0. And with that, I'm jumping back into the Crucible to grind some more videos for you.